It is 5 o'clock, and I'm going to call this afternoon's planning public meeting to order. I have regrets from Councillor Bell this afternoon, but otherwise we have a quorum. And I'm going to call on Councillor Urig to read our land acknowledgement.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We would like to begin by acknowledging that we are meeting on the traditional lands and treaty territory of the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, which includes the Chippewas of Nawash Unceded First Nation and the Chippewas of Saugeen First Nation. We also recognize the Métis whose ancestors shared this land and these waters. We extend our gratitude to all Anishinaabe and Métis people and their descendants past, present, and future who continue to care for and inhabit these lands and tend these waters.
Thank you, Councillor. Now I'll just ask you to join me in a moment of silent reflection on today's business. Thank you. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, just a reminder to bring it forward if it occurs to you. And I'd like to welcome everyone. We're holding this meeting today to learn about a proposal to amend the land use planning permissions applying to certain lands in the municipality of Meaford. It's very important to note that the Planning Act requires that a specified person who may later wish to file an appeal to Council's decision on any of these matters must either provide verbal comments today at this public meeting or provide written comments to Council before the amendments are passed. The intention of this requirement is that only those specified people who have taken the time and the care to learn about the proposal and to engage in the planning process may have an opportunity to appeal a decision to the Ontario Land Tribunal. Council is legally required to make decisions that conform to the county and local official plans. Our policies encourage us to reach out to community stakeholders to gather information. We have a variety of legal tools available to us that we can apply to development that will help us manage change in a positive manner with as minimal an impact as possible. And your insights can be part of what informs our direction. Those in attendance for today's meetings will have an opportunity to speak in person or remotely if pre-registered through Zoom. This meeting is not structured as a dialogue between speakers and the applicant. However, the applicant may take the opportunity to respond to comments toward the end of the meeting if they wish. Note that in many cases, formulating responses may require that staff carry out research after the meeting on the matters raised and provide answers following the meeting or through their report to Council. So I'll now call today's public meeting to order. It's a public meeting to consider a zoning bylaw amendment for lands known as 137035 Grey Road 12 in Meaford. This meeting is a mandatory part of the planning process, which has been set out by the Planning Act. Based on the rules of the Act, there must be at least 20 days' notice given to residents within 120 meters of the property. Notice of the zoning bylaw amendment was issued on June 25th, 2024, giving the required 20 days' notice. So let's get started. And first I'll call on Helena Fascinato, planner, to give us a brief presentation about this application and to provide us with any public and agency comments that have been received to date. Helena?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Council. So we are here tonight for the public meeting for zoning bylaw amendment Z02 2024, and it's for the lands at 137035 Grey Road 12. So the purpose of this public meeting is to hear a presentation from planning staff with some of the details about the subject lands in the planning application, and to provide a forum for the public to comment on this proposal. So the property owner is looking to establish an on-farm diversified use on the property. This would consist of a workshop, power room, and outdoor storage area. and it would cover approximately 4,000 square meters of the 20.6 hectare property. So the proposed use would be dry manufacturing, including the construction of trailers. And because this is not explicitly categorized in the official plan, a zoning amendment is required. So the proposed zoning amendment requests to rezone a portion of the subject property from rural to rural with exception to allow for the requested new uses. Okay, and just for some context, so this is where the subject lands are located. And they're in a primarily agricultural area with farms surrounding the property on all sides there. And the lands are approximately 20.6 hectares in area. There is also, I didn't note, but a small cemetery just northwest of the property. And so the County of Gray official plan designates the lands as rural, which are shown in white on the photo there, and then hazard lands, which are shown in green. And the permitted uses in the rural designation include agricultural related uses, and on-farm diversified uses are also permitted. And similarly, in the Meaford official plan, the lands are designated rural and environmental protection, and the permitted uses are very similar to those of the county official plan. So on-farm diversified uses are permitted as well. And the zoning of the subject lands, so they are zoned rural and environmental protection. And on-farm diversified uses not categorized in the official plan are permitted by way of site-specific zoning, excuse me, bylaw amendment. Okay, and a portion of the lands are proposed to change from rural to rural with exception, and there are no changes proposed to the environmentally protected zone. Okay, so here is a site plan of the proposal, and it will be to permit an on-farm diversified use that would consist of a workshop. There would be associated parking and loading dock with that workshop, a power room, outdoor storage area, and septic system. And it's the square that's in red on the site plan there. And it would cover an area of 4,000 square meters. Okay, and this just shows where we are at in the process. So we're at the public meeting stage. And then these are some ways for the public to participate. So they could submit comments in writing, by email, they can pop by the office or mail a letter in. All right. I'm just going to go back to the site plan here. So for comments received, we received some comments from the county, excuse me, that were generally no concerns. They did note, the county ecologist noted that there needed to be a 30-meter setback from the water course, and the applicant has indicated a 33-meter setback. And then positive comments were also received from a neighboring property owner, and we have not received any comments from Gray Sauble to date. And I will note that the proposed driveway does intersect the environmental protection area. It's not a part of the rezoning area, but the applicant will need a permit through Gray Sauble for that. All right, and that concludes the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elena. The applicant is with us here. Would you like to speak to your application? Is there anything you'd like to say about it?
I think Elena touched everything.
Okay. In that case, I can tell you there have been no pre-registrations to speak in person at the meeting by members of the public. I see no one in the audience who would want to, who didn't pre-register. So I'm next going to ask council if you have questions of the applicant. Councillor Bartley.
Thank you, Mayor Kenner. Not a question, just we did receive a letter from your neighbor. Very favorable letter. He's quite pleased with what you're doing, and so am I. Congratulations.
Did you have a question or no? Councillor Greenfield, and then I'll come back to the deputy mayor.
Thanks, Your Worship. Thanks, Helena, for your presentation. Just a question about the wastewater from the building. I'm assuming all of it, or at least the vast majority of it, will end up in the septic bed. Is that the intention of for any wastewater? Because I'm sure there will be some water used in the plant.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. I believe that would be the intent. I'm not sure if the applicant could confirm if the septic tank would be used for that.
Okay, deputy mayor. Oh, sorry, do you have another question?
Yeah. Well, we don't have any comments from Grace Hall yet, but I'm from what I've read, it doesn't appear as if they have anything major that they're concerned about.
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor, that's correct. We haven't received comments from Grace Obel as of yet. So no buildings or structures could be in the environmentally protected area. They could construct a driveway, but they will need a permit through Grace Obel. And from my understanding, the applicant has reached out to Grace Obel to get that process started.
Deputy mayor.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. And through you, I just wanted to say welcome, gentlemen. And as Councillor Bartley said, we're very pleased with your proposal today. But I did just have a couple of questions for clarity, if I may. And I'm sure I should know this, but what is inside a power room?
It's a generator. Power. Powered by
Propane. Okay, thank you. And I also wondered if I may, Your Worship, we see a loading dock drawn on the diagram. So I'm just curious to know, will there be large trucks coming into the operation, and sort of how many trucks a day? Are they going to be transport trucks, or what type of hauling might we expect?
Thanks, Denise.
Okay. Yeah, as far as trucks, there'll be bigger transport trucks coming in. Maybe on average, I don't know, one a day or so. And
Well, you're going to be busy if you're going to fill up a transport truck every day.
yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. If I may, I would like to ask a question. I thought I read somewhere that the product is trailers, and I wondered if you could tell us a little bit about, what type of trailer and something about the demand for them.
Cargo and tows. Cargo trailers is the main thing,
Okay.
like an 8x16 or 7x16 or 20 feet long.
I'm under the opinion that we are probably getting more, what I would quote as industrial development in rural Meaford than in urban Meaford, and have been for a long time as a result of this, diversified use. And I think it makes a lot of sense and is very valuable to the local economy. So I add my congratulations on your hard work, and wish you all success. And with that, I'd like to thank everyone for attending this meeting, sharing your thoughts on the application. This matter will now be referred back to Development Services staff to follow up on any additional information required from the applicant based on matters raised today. Once staff are satisfied that they have all necessary information needed to provide a recommendation on the application, a detailed planning report will be brought back to council to assist us in our decision-making. This report will evaluate how the proposal does or does not satisfy the provincial, county, and municipal policies that must be considered as part of council's decision. It will also explore the various public and agency comments received regarding the application, noting those tools which may be applied in order to address concerns raised and to mitigate potential impacts on nearby properties. If you would like to receive notice of a future decision on this file, please provide your contact information to the Planning Services Division by email at planning@meaford.ca. And that concludes our discussion on this topic this afternoon, and I'll declare the meeting adjourned.